What if the chaos in your mind isn't just a product of your daily life, but a reflection of a cosmic shift stirring the universe? Imagine a world where the noise of worries, regrets, and fears fades into a serene stillness, a place where peace isn't just a dream, but a reality you can touch. At Daily Buddhist, we're diving into 7 transformative teachings that will guide you to quiet your mind and awaken your inner calm, even as celestial energies amplify the mental storms around us. These ancient lessons, rooted in Buddhist wisdom, have endured for centuries, offering a timeless path to reshape how you think, feel, and navigate life's uncertainties. Take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you felt truly still? Not just your body, but your mind, free from the endless chatter of to-dos and what-ifs? This video isn't just a guide. It's an invitation to pause, breathe, and connect with the stillness that's always been within you. I remember a time when I stood by a tranquil lake in the mountains of Serenity Vale, watching the water ripple gently under a soft breeze. In that moment, I realized the mind could be just as calm if we let it. Whether you're battling stress, anxiety, or simply yearning for clarity, these teachings will lead you to a sanctuary of peace. Stay with us until the end. The final lesson holds the key to unshakable serenity. Let's begin this journey together. Your mind is a vast ocean, endlessly generating waves of thoughts, some gentle and uplifting, others turbulent and heavy with worry. But here's the truth. You are not the waves. You are the ocean itself, deep and unchanging beneath the surface. Buddhism teaches us to practice detached awareness, to watch our thoughts without being swept away by their currents. Imagine sitting on the shore of Crescent Bay, gazing at the waves as they rise and fall. Some are small, others crash with force, but they always recede. Your thoughts are the same. They come and go, but you remain. I recall a moment last year when I was overwhelmed with deadlines. Sitting in my small apartment in Willow Grove, I felt consumed by thoughts of failure. Then I paused and imagined those thoughts as waves, simply passing through. Instead of saying, "I'm a failure," I shifted to, "I'm noticing a thought of failure." That small change created space and the weight lifted. Let's delve deeper into this practice of detached awareness, a cornerstone of Buddhist mindfulness that can transform how you relate to your inner world. The ocean metaphor isn't just poetic, it's a practical tool. Picture yourself on the sandy shores of Crescent Bay at dawn, the horizon stretching endlessly before you. The waves roll in, some sparkling with the first light of the sun, others dark and frothy, carrying the weight of a storm. You don't jump into the water to wrestle with each wave. You simply sit, watching them come and go. This is how you can approach your thoughts. They may whisper fears about the future or replay past mistakes, but they are not you. They are fleeting like the waves, while you are the vast, unshakable ocean beneath. This teaching resonates deeply in our modern lives, where the mind is often a battlefield of competing thoughts. Consider a young professional named Tara, who I met at a mindfulness workshop in the bustling city of Emberton. Tara was a graphic designer, constantly juggling client demands and tight deadlines. She shared how her mind would spiral into self-doubt after every project, with thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never meet their expectations." These thoughts felt so real, so defining, that she began to believe they were her truth. During the workshop, I introduced her to the observer mindset. We sat in a quiet room, and I guided her to close her eyes and imagine her thoughts as leaves floating on a stream. "Don't grab them," I said. "Just watch them drift by." At first, Tara struggled. Her mind kept pulling her back into the current of worry. But after a few minutes, she opened her eyes, a small smile on her face. "I felt separate from it," she said. "Like I could choose not to believe those thoughts." This shift in perspective is powerful because it breaks the cycle of emotional reactivity. When you identify with every thought, you become its servant, reacting impulsively to its demands. But when you step back as the observer, you reclaim your power. You begin to see thoughts for what they are, temporary visitors, not permanent residents. This practice isn't about suppressing thoughts or forcing positivity. It's about creating space. In that space, you can choose how to respond rather than being swept away. For Tara, this meant approaching her next project with a newfound calm. Instead of spiraling into self-doubt, she noticed the thought, acknowledged it, and let it pass, focusing instead on her creativity. To integrate this into your life, start with small moments. The next time you feel a surge of anxiety, Perhaps while stuck in traffic or facing a difficult conversation, pause. Take a deep breath and mentally step back. Label the thought. I'm noticing a feeling of frustration. This simple act of naming creates distance, reminding you that you are not the emotion. You are the one experiencing it. Over time, this practice becomes second nature. I've seen it in my own life too. After that overwhelming day in Willow Grove, I began setting aside 5 minutes each morning to sit quietly and observe my thoughts. At first, my mind raced with to-dos and worries, but gradually, I learned to let them pass without attachment. The result was a clarity I hadn't felt in years. A clarity that allowed me to face challenges with wisdom, not fear. You too can cultivate this observer mindset, freeing yourself from the endless loop of overthinking and stepping into a space of peace and presence. The breath is more than a biological function. It's a sacred rhythm, a constant companion that can guide you back to stillness no matter where you are. In Buddhist teachings, the breath is revered as a direct path to mindfulness, a way to tether yourself to the present moment when the mind races with worries or regrets. Think of your breath as an anchor in a stormy sea. When the waves of emotion, anger, fear, or sadness threaten to pull you under, your breath is the steady weight that keeps you grounded. Most of us, however, breathe unconsciously, especially in moments of stress. Our breaths become shallow, rapid, barely reaching the depths of our lungs. This keeps the body in a state of tension, signaling to the mind that danger is near. But when you learn to breathe deeply and intentionally, you send a different message, one of safety, calm, and presence. The practice I shared, inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and pausing, is a simple yet profound technique rooted in Buddhist tradition. Let's break it down further. Find a quiet space, perhaps in your home or a nearby park, and sit comfortably. Close your eyes if you feel safe and begin. As you inhale through your nose, imagine the air as a cool, cleansing stream, filling your lungs with clarity. Hold the breath gently, feeling a moment of stillness, as if the world has paused with you. Then exhale slowly through your mouth, releasing tension like a soft sigh, letting go of whatever weighs on your mind. Pause again, noticing the emptiness, the space between breaths where peace resides. As you repeat this cycle, bring your attention to the physical sensations. The rise and fall of your chest, the gentle expansion of your belly, the coolness of the air on your nostrils. This focus pulls you out of the mind's chatter and into the body, into the now. I once met a woman named Lila at a mindfulness retreat in Pine Hollow. She shared how her anxiety had spiraled during a hectic move to the city of Ashwood. The transition had upended her life. New job, new apartment, new routines, and her anxiety had spiraled out of control. She described nights where she'd lie awake, her heart racing, her mind replaying every decision she'd made. That evening on her balcony, as the city lights twinkled below, she decided to try the breathing technique we'd practiced earlier that day. She sat on a small cushion, her hands resting on her knees, and began to count her breaths. At first, her mind resisted, jumping to her endless to-do list. But she persisted, focusing on the rhythm of her breath, the way it felt as it moved through her. After just a few cycles, she felt a shift, a softening, as if the knot in her chest had begun to unravel. It was like the storm in my head quieted, she told me the next day, her voice steady for the first time. From that moment, Lila made conscious breathing a daily ritual, a touchstone she returned to whenever life felt overwhelming. You can do the same. This practice doesn't require a retreat or a special setting. It's available to you right now. Whether you're at your desk, in a crowded subway, or lying in bed at night, your breath is there, waiting to guide you back to calm. I've used it myself countless times. I remember a particularly hectic day in Willow Grove, stuck in traffic after a long day of meetings. My mind was racing with frustration, replaying every moment I felt I'd fallen short. I pulled over for a moment, closed my eyes, and began the 4-count breath. With each cycle, I felt my shoulders relax, my thoughts slow, and a sense of spaciousness return. By the time I resumed driving, I was no longer reacting to the chaos. I was responding with clarity. Over time, this practice becomes a habit, a reflex you turn to instinctively. It's a reminder that peace isn't something you need to chase. It's something you can cultivate, breath by breath, moment by moment. In our modern world, mental clutter is an epidemic, a byproduct of lives filled with overstimulation and excess. We're bombarded daily by notifications pinging on our phones, by the constant stream of news and social media, by the pressure to do more, be more, have more. This clutter doesn't just crowd our physical spaces. It seeps into our minds, leaving us restless, overwhelmed, and disconnected from our inner peace. Buddhism offers a remedy: simplicity. But this isn't just about owning fewer things or clearing out a drawer. It's a deeper practice of letting go of distractions, of emotional baggage, of the mental noise that keeps us from truly being present. Simplicity in the Buddhist sense is about creating space. Space for clarity, for stillness, for the wisdom that arises when the mind is no longer weighed down by the unnecessary. Let's reflect on those questions again, but with more intention. Sit with them for a moment. Am I holding on to emotional baggage that no longer serves me? Perhaps it's a grudge from a past argument, a fear of failure that keeps you from taking risks, or a lingering regret over a choice you can't change. These are the invisible weights we carry, cluttering our minds with what-ifs and if-onlys. Now ask, am I overloading my mind with external noise? Do you find yourself scrolling through social media for hours, comparing your life to others, or consuming news that leaves you anxious and drained? These habits fill your mental space with clutter, leaving little room for peace. The Buddhist path to simplicity invites you to release these burdens, to strip away what doesn't align with your true values, and to make room for what truly matters. Take my friend Arjun, who lived in a bustling city called Emberton. His apartment was a maze of gadgets, smart speakers, multiple screens, a collection of devices he rarely used. His schedule was just as crowded, packed with meetings, social events, and side projects he felt obligated to take on. He confessed to me over coffee one day that he felt like he was drowning in his own life. "I can't think straight," he said, his voice tinged with exhaustion. "There's always something demanding my attention." I suggested he try simplifying, starting with his physical space. That weekend, Arjun began sorting through his belongings, donating items he hadn't touched in years, old electronics, clothes that no longer fit, books he'd never read. As he cleared his apartment, he felt a shift, a lightness he hadn't expected. But he didn't stop there. He turned off notifications on his phone, limited his screen time to an hour a day, and began saying no to commitments that didn't align with his priorities. Within weeks, Arjun's mind, once a whirlwind of stress, began to feel like a clear sky after a storm. He told me, "I didn't realize how much I was carrying until I let it go." You can start this journey too, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Begin with small, intentional steps. Tidy your desk or a corner of your room, noticing how the physical act of decluttering mirrors a mental release. Limit notifications on your devices. Perhaps turn off all but the essentials, giving your mind a break from constant interruptions. Focus on one task at a time, resisting the urge to multitask, which only scatters your attention. I found this practice transformative in my own life. A few months ago, I realized my evenings were consumed by mindless scrolling, leaving me feeling drained rather than rested. I decided to simplify. I set a timer for 30 minutes of screen time, then spent the rest of my evening reading or journaling. The difference was immediate. I felt more present, more grounded, more at peace. Simplicity isn't about deprivation. It's about intention. It's about clearing the clutter, both physical and mental, so that stillness can take root. When you create this space, you allow wisdom to bloom, insights to surface, and a deep sense of calm to settle in where chaos once reigned. We live in a culture that glorifies multitasking, where the ability to juggle multiple tasks at once is often seen as a badge of honor. We check emails while eating breakfast, scroll through social media while working on a report, and hold conversations while mentally planning the next thing on our to-do list. This scattered attention might make us feel productive, but in reality, it fragments the mind, increases stress, and diminishes the quality of our experiences. Buddhism offers a different approach. Single tasking, the art of immersing yourself fully in one activity with complete awareness. This practice isn't just about efficiency. It's about presence, about bringing your whole self to the moment you're in. When you eat, truly eat, savor each bite, notice the flavors, feel the texture. When you walk, truly walk, feel the ground beneath your feet, hear the sounds around you, breathe in the air. This mindful focus allows the mind to settle, creating a sense of peace that multitasking can never provide. The benefits of single tasking are profound, both for your mental clarity and your emotional well-being. When you give your full attention to one task, you engage more deeply with it, whether it's a work project, a conversation, or a simple daily activity. This depth of engagement not only improves the quality of what you're doing, but also reduces the mental fatigue that comes from constantly switching gears. I experienced this firsthand during a morning in Oak Ridge Park. I had been feeling overwhelmed by a busy week, my mind a tangle of thoughts about deadlines and responsibilities. On a whim, I decided to leave my phone at home and take a walk through the park. As I stepped onto the path, I made a conscious choice to be fully present. I noticed the crunch of leaves under my boots, the crisp scent of pine in the air, the rhythm of my breath as I walked. For the first time in days, my mind stopped racing. It was as if the act of focusing on one thing, walking, allowed all the other noise to fade away. I returned home feeling refreshed, my thoughts clearer, my heart lighter. To bring single tasking into your life, start by creating an environment that supports focus. Distractions are the enemy of presence, and in our modern world, they're everywhere. Notifications, background noise, the temptation to check your phone. Begin by silencing your phone or putting it in another room. Close unnecessary tabs on your computer, and if possible, find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Then choose one task and commit to giving it your full attention. If you're sipping tea, for example, make it a ritual. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hands. Inhale the aroma as the steam rises. Taste the subtle flavors with each sip. Notice the sensations in your body as you drink, the way your shoulders relax, the way the warmth spreads through you. This sensory engagement pulls you into the moment, anchoring your mind in the present. Slowing down is another key aspect of single tasking. We often rush through tasks, eager to move on to the next thing. But this haste robs us of the richness of the experience. Instead, move with intention, treating each action as a meditation. I've found this especially powerful in mundane activities. One evening, while washing dishes in my kitchen in Willow Grove, I decided to approach the task mindfully. I focused on the warmth of the water, the scent of the soap, the smooth texture of the plates as I scrubbed them clean. What could have been a chore became a moment of calm, a chance to be fully present. Another helpful practice is to take brief pauses between tasks. Instead of jumping from one activity to the next, take a deep breath, close your eyes for a moment and reset. This small act of stillness prevents mental fatigue and helps you approach the next task with a fresh, focused mind. Over time, single tasking rewires your mind to be more present, more intentional, more at peace. It's a practice that not only reduces stress, but also deepens your connection to the world around you. I've seen this in my own life, and I've seen it in others too. A friend of mine, a teacher named Priya in Sunlit Valley, used to pride herself on her ability to multitask, grading papers while watching TV, planning lessons while cooking dinner. But she noticed that she was always exhausted, her mind never truly at rest. When I introduced her to single tasking, she was skeptical at first. But she started small, focusing fully on her morning coffee each day. She described how over weeks, that one mindful moment began to ripple into the rest of her day. She felt more connected to her students, more engaged in her work, and more at peace in her life. Single tasking isn't just a productivity hack. It's a path to a calmer, more intentional way of living, one moment at a time. Don't let this moment of clarity slip away. Subscribe now to Daily Buddhist and begin your journey into mindful awareness. Let's grow this community of peace seekers together. One of the most profound sources of mental suffering is our tendency to over-identify with our problems, to weave them into the fabric of who we are. When challenges arise, a difficult relationship, a financial struggle, a health scare, it's natural to feel overwhelmed. But the mind often amplifies this suffering by attaching our identity to the struggle. We say, "I am stressed," or "I am a failure," as if these experiences define us. Buddhism offers a liberating perspective. Suffering comes from clinging to emotions, to thoughts, to the stories we tell ourselves about our problems. By clinging, we give these struggles power over us, allowing them to shape how we see ourselves. But what if you could step back and see them for what they truly are? Temporary experiences, not permanent truths. This is the essence of non-attachment, a core Buddhist teaching that can free you from unnecessary suffering. The language we use plays a powerful role in this process. Instead of saying, "I am anxious," try shifting to, "I am experiencing anxiety." Instead of "I am a failure," say, "I am facing a setback." This subtle change in wording creates a mental distance between you and the problem, reminding you that you are not the struggle. You are the one witnessing it. This shift aligns with the Buddhist concept of impermanence, the understanding that everything, emotions, circumstances, even life itself, is in constant flux. What feels overwhelming today may not matter in a week, a month, or a year. By recognizing this impermanence, you can navigate challenges with a sense of perspective, knowing that they too will pass. Last summer, I visited my friend Maya in Sunlit Valley, a quaint town nestled between rolling hills. Maya had always been ambitious, working as a marketing manager for a startup. But when her company downsized, she lost her job, a blow that shook her confidence to its core. She told me she felt like a failure, replaying every decision she'd made, wondering where she'd gone wrong. "I don't know who I am without this job," she confessed, her voice heavy with shame. I shared this Buddhist teaching with her, explaining how over-identifying with her setback was amplifying her suffering. I suggested she try a visualization practice. Imagine her thoughts as leaves floating down a stream in her backyard, where a small creek ran behind her house. "Don't grab the leaves," I said. "Just watch them drift by." Maya began practicing this daily, sitting by the creek each morning, visualizing her thoughts of failure and fear as leaves on the water. At first, she struggled to let go. She wanted to dive in and analyze each thought. But gradually, she learned to observe without attachment. One day, she called me, her voice lighter than I'd heard in months. "I realized it's just a chapter, not my whole story," she said. Over time, she began to see her setback as a lesson, an opportunity to pivot into a new career path that aligned more with her passions. She even started a small business, something she'd always dreamed of but never had the courage to pursue. This practice of detachment isn't about ignoring your problems or pretending they don't exist. It's about changing your relationship with them. When you stop over-identifying, you create space to respond rather than react. You begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth, not as threats to your identity. Another powerful tool to support this shift is gratitude. Even in the darkest moments, there's something to be thankful for. A warm meal, a kind word from a friend, the beauty of a sunrise. I've used this in my own life during difficult times. A few years ago, I went through a period of financial uncertainty, and my mind kept spiraling into fear. I'm not good enough to get through this. But each evening, I'd write down 3 things I was grateful for: a supportive friend, a roof over my head, the sound of birds outside my window. This practice shifted my focus from lack to abundance, reminding me that my struggles didn't define me. They were just one part of a much larger picture. You can start this practice today. The next time a problem arises, pause and take a deep breath. Ask yourself, am I making this bigger by overthinking? Is this who I am? Or just something I'm experiencing? Then visualize your thoughts as leaves on a stream, or perhaps as clouds drifting across the sky. Acknowledge them, but let them pass without clinging. Over time, this detachment will free you from the emotional weight of your struggles, opening the door to growth, resilience, and a deeper understanding of yourself. Problems are not punishments, they're invitations to evolve, to learn, to become stronger. By letting go of over-identification, you reclaim your power, creating a mind that's a sanctuary of peace, not a prison of suffering. In a world of constant noise, notifications, deadlines, endless to-dos, stillness is a rare gift. Buddhism teaches that true peace lies not in doing more, but in pausing. Stillness isn't just silence. It's a conscious practice of being fully present. A simple way to start is through meditation. Find a quiet corner, close your eyes, and focus on your breath for 5 minutes. As thoughts arise, observe them without judgment and let them pass. I recall a day in the quiet hills of Verdant Ridge, where I sat under a tree, listening to the wind. For the first time in weeks, my mind slowed and I felt a profound calm. You can also cultivate stillness in nature. Walk by a river, sit under a starry sky, or engage in silent activities like journaling or painting. Set aside 10 minutes daily for complete silence, free from screens or distractions. Over time, stillness becomes a sanctuary, a space where clarity and wisdom emerge naturally. The urge to control outcomes, people, the future, is a major source of mental unrest. We fear uncertainty, so we cling tightly, but Buddhism reminds us that control is an illusion. Life is a flowing river, and the more we resist its current, the more we struggle. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting the natural flow. I once knew a man named Ravi in Starlit Plains who obsessed over his business plans. When a deal fell through, he spiraled into anxiety, trying to control every detail. I encouraged him to practice mindful surrender, pausing, breathing, and asking, "Can I approach this with openness?" He began to see setbacks as opportunities, and his stress melted away. Release expectations, embrace uncertainty, and focus on what you can control: your attitude, actions, and reactions. True freedom comes not from controlling everything, but from finding peace in whatever comes. If you've ever used mindfulness to find calm in chaos, type 1 in the comments. If you're just starting your mindfulness journey, type 2. You're in the right place. Let's connect and grow together. As we close this journey through 7 life-changing Buddhist teachings, let's reflect on the path we've walked together. The cosmic shift stirring our minds, amplifying our thoughts and emotions, is not a burden, but an invitation. It's a call to awaken, to step beyond the chaos and into a sanctuary of inner peace. Each teaching we've explored is a stepping stone. Observing your thoughts like waves on the shore, breathing deeply to anchor in the present, simplifying your life to create mental space, focusing fully on one task at a time, detaching from problems to see their impermanence, cultivating stillness as a daily reset, and letting go of control to flow with life's river. Together, these practices transform your mind into a haven of calm, a place where clarity and wisdom can flourish. I think back to a moment in my own life, standing on the cliffs of Azure Heights, watching the sun dip below the horizon. The world felt vast, and my worries, so heavy just hours before, seemed small in comparison. That's the power of these teachings. They remind us that peace isn't something to chase. It's something that grows from within. The wisdom you seek has always been inside you, waiting for you to pause, breathe, and listen. At Daily Buddhist, we're committed to guiding you on this path, offering timeless insights to navigate life's storms with grace. Your journey toward peace begins now. Don't wait. Subscribe to Daily Buddhist and join a community dedicated to mindfulness and growth. Let's walk this path together. Now imagine applying these teachings in your daily life. Start small. Tomorrow morning, take 5 minutes to breathe mindfully before checking your phone. Notice how your day shifts when you begin with intention, or declutter a corner of your space, letting go of items that no longer serve you, and feel the mental clarity that follows. These small acts ripple outward, creating a life of greater presence and peace. Challenges will still come. Life's river will always have its twists, but you'll meet them with a steady heart, knowing they don't define you. Buddhism teaches us that true freedom lies in non-attachment, in embracing impermanence, and in walking the middle way between excess and deprivation. As you move forward, carry this wisdom with you. Peace is not found by seeking, but by pausing, breathing, and embracing the present. Click subscribe now. Your path to inner peace starts here. And let's keep this conversation alive. Have you experienced moments of unexpected calm or insight? Share your story in the comments. Your journey could inspire someone else. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey. May you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be free from suffering. Let's continue to grow together with Daily Buddhist. See you in the next video.